Uh, Planetary HQ, baby. What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned into Planetary HQ, the planetary headquarters for all of your celestial information. And today, we have an extraterrestrial Christmas story. That's right, we're going way back to the birth of Christ. Who was Jesus Christ? You know, everybody talks about him. You know, he's a enigmatic figure. He literally changed the entire timeline of humanity. We base our entire timeline off of his life and death, AD and BC. That's how huge he was. That's how much of an impact he was on planet Earth. His birth and his death and his life story is crazy. But for this episode, we're gonna go before his life and death. We're gonna go to Jesus Christ's past lives. You know, he himself said he was not of this world. You see Christians driving around all the time in their cars and it has NOTW on the back of their cars. That stands for not of this world. Back in the day, he talked about the kingdom of heaven. They did not have the term universe. They said the term heaven. The heavens were the universe. They didn't have the term government. They used the term kingdom. So the kingdom of heaven is literally the universal government or the Galactic Federation. If Jesus himself said that he was not of this world, some people call him the Son of God. A lot of people in the religious, spiritual community, they call him a high avatar. They recognize his celestial pre-existence and the fact that he incarnated on planet Earth. So who really was this Jesus Christ? We know that we celebrate Christmas. That's why we're having this episode today. It is Christmas Eve. And remember, it's called Christmas for a reason. Christ Mass, the Mass of Christ. So you have to keep Christ in Christmas. That's what all the Christians say. But we really want you to understand the extraterrestrial, the non-planetary, the super space god, Jesus Christ, because he's very important in order to understand this entire ET, UFO, UAP phenomena. If you don't understand how he fits into the puzzle, then you're missing the biggest piece of all, and you're going to be groping around in the dark trying to figure out what facts are true and what facts are false. Now, I'm not over here saying every UFO is an alien, every UFO is an angel or a demon, like Tucker Carlson or Anna Paulina Luna, which I love them both because they're pushing that ball forward. But there is a very close and intimate association between the UFO phenomena and religion. And I think Jesus Christ is that bridge. Yes, space Christians. No, I'm just
Future
joking.
Christianity.
So, Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas Eve. We are talking about who Jesus Christ is. And this specific paper from the Urantia contacts, these beings made contact in 1935. Yeah, what you're about to read is almost 100 years old. So while we're reading this, keep that in the back of your mind. And this is a great story. This tells you the origin story of Jesus Christ. And we might as well just jump into it because his name is actually Michael. Okay? No foreplay, no precursor. I'm just going to say it. His name is Michael. That's his name before he incarnated on planet Earth. So when you see the word Michael in here, you'll understand that's Jesus Christ. So this is from paper 119, or the 119th contact. The 119th Urantia contact in 1935. And it's called The Bestowals of Christ Michael. It's talking about the ET origins of Jesus Christ. So, you got anything to say to the people before we dive in?
Yeah, Christmas is a funny holiday. It's an amalgamation of many different cultures and then a good splash of consumerism in the modern day. But it's really a fusion of Christian and Viking mythology from the time when the Christians and the Vikings mixed in early European history. The Vikings had Yule, that was their holiday. They had this figure in their lore that would go around on, I think it was an 8-legged horse, and give out gift.
Terrorize the children.
What was it, Odin? It was Odin. Odin would go around on this 8-legged horse, and this 8-legged horse would end up evolving into multiple animals pulling a sleigh. This idea of gift giving. I think it's really fascinating, the crossbreeding, the cross fertilization of cultures. But Christ Michael of Nebadon, as the Urantia context puts it.
See, I was gonna
But
say that, but I held back a little bit.
held back a little.
Yeah,
It's
so his
it's in
name
the
is
first.
Michael, but you're right. It's Michael of Nebadon.
I know it shows up in the first sentence here, so I'll preface by saying Nebadon is the name of our local universe. These contexts portray a vast cosmology and organized structure of all the galaxies and clusters of galaxies out there. It's up for debate whether a local universe refers to our galaxy, which I believe it does in this context. But uh, I love this paper because it scratches that itch of like, who is this guy? But also, it puts into context why he came here. He wasn't just sent here to suffer, but he chose to come here for a very important mission, to be able to relate with creatures like us. Because you're not going to follow orders from a higher up who has never experienced what you've experienced down in the trenches. Like a manager telling you how to do your job. They're just a carpet walker. So Jesus is not a carpet walker. He's got his hands dirty.
Jesus is not a carpet walker. Confirmed. Yeah, something I want the people to know. If you're a new viewer, or if you're a regular to the channel, you probably know this story, but the universe is very organized and it's administered to in a highly organized fashion. Michael created our sector of the cosmos. Just by creating our part of the universe, it doesn't grant you sovereignty. You are the head honcho, but you don't get stamped by like the high paradise rulers. Like you are the official certified head honcho. In order to be certified, when you create your part of creation and all the beings that exist within that little arena, you actually have to incarnate as these beings. You have to become one of these beings. You have to experience the universe from the point of view of one of your children. When this happens, you get a better understanding of how to govern the universe, because now you have their life experience. So if he becomes a human, when he goes up on high, now he understands how to administer to the universe better because he's had that human experience, and now he can administer to an entire sector of the universe full of humans and for other angelic beings as well, as we're going to go over in these papers. So it's a very interesting concept and it makes perfect sense. So that's why we got him 2,000 years ago. These were one of his incarnations. We're not going to go over the Jesus one. We're going to go over the 6 before that one, because I think it's important for you guys to understand who Jesus was before he became Jesus Christ, because that's just what we called him on earth. So let's dive into it, baby. And if you like what we're saying so far, we're scratching the surface. So make sure you hit that like button and make sure you press that subscribe button so you're up to date with all the celestial broadcasts. Don't forget to hit that little notification bell too, so you do get notified when we go live, because we go live all the time, once a week at least. So paper 119, the bestowals of Christ Michael. Chief of the evening stars of Nebadon, I am assigned to Urantia by Gabriel on the mission of revealing the story of these 7 bestowals of the universe sovereign, Michael of Nebadon, and my name is Gavalia. In making this presentation, I will adhere strictly to the limitations imposed by my commission. The attribute of bestowal is inherent in the paradise sons of the Universal Father, and their desire to come close to the life experiences of their subordinate living creatures. The various orders of the paradise sons are reflecting the divine nature of their paradise parents. The eternal Son of the Paradise Trinity led the way in this practice, having 7 times bestowed himself upon the 7 circuits of Havona during the times of the ascension of Grand Fonda and the first of the pilgrims from time and space. And the eternal Son continues to bestow himself upon the local universes of space in the persons of his representatives, the Michaels and Avenel sons. When the Eternal Son bestows a creator, when the Eternal Son bestows a creator son upon a projected local universe, that creator son assumes full responsibility for the completion, control, and composure of that new universe, including the solemn oath to the Eternal Trinity not to assume full sovereignty of the new creation until his 7 creature bestowals shall have been successfully completed and certified by the Ancients of Days of the super-universe jurisdiction. This obligation is assumed by every Michael son who volunteers to go out from paradise to engage in universe organization and creation. So, you guys probably get the gist of that. It makes sense. You know, the Michael sons, who Jesus was before he was Jesus, their origin is in paradise. Think of the universe as one big atom, okay? There's a nucleus, a central part, and then a bunch of swirling circuits around of it. At the very center, they call this paradise. That's where the Father, the Son, and the Mother Spirit, Holy Spirit, that's where those 3 beings live. When the Eternal Son wants to create a new section of the universe, when the Eternal Son wants to administer to another section of the universe, he will duplicate himself. He'll project himself. So there's that, when you say Father, Son, Spirit in the center of the universe in paradise, you're referring to those 3 beings. But that first son will duplicate himself a bunch of times to administer to different sections of the universe. And that's what this paper is saying right here. It's saying, the paradise sons, they have the desire to live life experiences of their subordinate living creatures. The Eternal Son, so the first one of the Paradise Trinity, he led the way in this practice. He bestowed himself for the very first time in universal history. So that first son from the paradise, he was the first one to bestow himself onto the universe. He did this. Yeah. He did this during the times of the ascension of Grand Fanda, the first pilgrim. So you know how we die, and after we die, we go to another planet after Earth. When that happens, well, that's been happening for a long time. And when the original person started to do this, his name was Grand Fanda. And Grand Fanda was the first ascender. And when the first ascender made it from a normal material planet all the way up to paradise, that's when the first Eternal Son incarnated to show him the way. And that was the first template, the first blueprint. And that was, we can't even say how long ago that was. We don't have a number for how long ago in ancient history that was. Billions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of years ago. And that was the first son. Yeah.
It's amazing how just through reading like 3 or 4 paragraphs, you're confronted with so many completely mind-boggling concepts. If you really sit on it and think about it, it just totally pulls your mind in a new direction it's never been before. I mean, like the whole idea that like animals evolve on a world, eventually stand upright and become sentient, and then there's a long period of like pre-humans, early humans where no one's really achieved any kind of enlightenment, that kind of condition, and then finally someone does it, and they like wake up in the afterlife. The very first world where I would imagine way back in the remote stretches of the past, there were probably several worlds where life was planted and it was evolving, and a few planets they noted like, hey, there's animals on these planets, and a few planets are like, hey, on some of these planets they actually evolved into people. Finally, one person just like their mind was expanded. They woke
Did
up in the
DMT,
afterlife.
ate a mushroom. Fucking
Yeah, probably. They're a little alien ape, and they ate some mushrooms, and all these new conditions were set into place, like a reaction, an automatic reaction by human consciousness existing in the afterlife plane. Reality kind of matched that condition and created an entire regime for ascending personalities to ascend. But it's really cool. Right off the bat, you see this is presented by a being named Gavalia. So For those new to this, the Urantia contacts, every few papers is presented by a different being. So you get a diversity of perspectives in the organization and structure of the universe. And the final note I wanted to make was that the Trinity really is focalized in the center of all reality, but I would really describe it as like a focalization of intelligence or consciousness. I'm not so sure the Trinity really has like bodies that you would recognize or forms because they're above time and space. They're like intelligent personal constructs of all reality. And so because of that limitation, they delegate themselves into subordinate personalities, kind of like um, recursive programming or something, like a program calling on smaller programs nested within itself. And so the Son, the Father, Son, and Spirit, these three initial personalities of creation, the Son has this ability to create smaller suns. I guess you would say smaller than the center
Yeah.
of reality, and actually inhabit and experience reality along with us little created beings. So yeah, pretty cool.
And that's a important distinguish to make um, when you read this paragraph right here. When the eternal Son bestows a creator Son upon a projected local universe, that creator Son assumes full responsibility. So in that sense, you can kind of tell that first eternal Son in the center of the nucleus of paradise, he bestows and projects a creator Son to a section of the cosmos. So that's what Jesus Christ is. He literally is the Son of God.
Quite literally.
So yeah, don't downplay him. And let us be clear here. When we talk about Jesus Christ and the cosmic Jesus, do not make the mistake of confusing what we're saying with the Christian church, the institutionalized Christianity. So I know when we say Jesus, it might trigger some people and you'll think immediately all the images that you've ever encountered and been conditioned since your birth, what Christianity is. All those images are going to boil to the top of your mind. You're going to be like, I might not like this. Divorce those from what we're talking about. The cosmic Jesus is not all of those institutionalized Christian images. We're not talking about Christianity. We're talking about,
Even
because the church has done
e-
terrible things. Okay, burned people at the stake,
yeah.
hindered science. We recognize that. We're talking about the person of Jesus. Paul, unfortunately, we'll not talk about that, but he distorted his teachings, and what you call Christianity is really Pauline doctrine. But let's keep
Mm.
let's keep going, I guess.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, I was
something?
just gonna say that even the religion of Jesus, what he spoke about as like your right adjustment to reality, your right way of living and thinking and behaving, is totally different from the modern Christian church. Although a lot of Christians embody better than probably most people on the planet some of his teachings, the Christian church at large isn't really representative of what this figure we're talking about, Christ, totally embodied. That's just the human, like, reciprocal action of trying to comprehend what actually took place and then form it into our own institutions, which we modeled off of the older religions that came before Christianity. And even till today, the Christian institution probably has a long way to go before it accurately reflects what Jesus himself actually preached.
Yeah. And like you said in the beginning, what did Jesus believe? Like what we're talking about, this is what Jesus believed. This is the religion of Jesus. If you want to know what the hell was in Jesus, like who was Jesus as a historical figure, we're way past that, dude. Are UFOs real? I'm 14 and this is deep. No, we're way past that. Like yeah, Jesus is real, dog. Get past that. We want to know what he thought in his mind. What was this fool's brain running off of? And this is what it was. This is what he was thinking about. This is what he believed in. So synthesize it. You want to become Christ conscious? It's not going into the woods with crystals, growing your hair out, dude. It's fucking knowing what he thought about. So get your pencils out, dog. And we got Tate Chill in the chat. Shout out to Tate Chill.
Hey,
Couldn't make it.
Shilla,
He's
what's
busy on
up?
holiday operations. but he'll be back in the mix pretty soon. All right. And remember, he incarnates as his creatures in order to gain experience so that he becomes a better and more benevolent and a more merciful ruler. The purpose of these creature incarnations is to enable such creators to become wise, sympathetic, just, and understanding sovereigns. These divine sons are innately just, but they become understandingly merciful as a result of these successive bestowal experiences. They are naturally merciful, but these experiences make them merciful in a new and additional ways. These bestowals are the last steps in their education and training for the sublime tasks of ruling the local universes in divine righteousness and by just judgment. Though numerous incidental benefits accrue the various worlds, systems, and constellations, as well as to their different orders of universe intelligences affected and benefited by these bestowals, they are primarily designed to complete the personal training and universe education of a creator son himself. Well, that's funny. So even though we benefit from it, it's secondary. The primary reason they do this is for
Wow.
their own experience. Like,
What a
yeah, your
trip.
world gets upgraded because I'm nice, but I'm really here for me. um, Not like it's egotistical. I'm just making a human joke, guys. Okay, relax. These bestowals are not essential to the wise, just, and efficient management of a local universe, but they are absolutely necessary to a fair, merciful, and understanding administration of such a creation, teeming with its varied forms of life and its myriads of intelligent but imperfect creatures. The Michael sons begin their work of universe organization with the full and just sympathy for the various orders of beings whom they have created. They have vast stores of mercy for all of these differing creatures, even pity for those who err and flounder in the selfish mire of their own production. Lucifer, Caligastia. But such endowments of justice and righteousness will not suffice in the estimate of the Ancient of Days. These triune rulers of the super universes will never certify a creator son as universe sovereign until he has really acquired the viewpoint of his own creatures by actual experience in the environment of their existence and as these very creatures themselves. In this way, such sons become intelligent and understanding rulers. They come to know the various groups over which they rule and exercise universe authority. By living experience, they possess themselves of practical mercy, fair judgment, and the patience born of experiential creature existence. Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
It is cosmic poetry, dude. Shout out to the Midwayers for translating all this. Because, they just got like a blast of star energy and geometries in their forehead, and they're like, woo, how do we make this so the humans understand it? And then, because they've been alive for 50,000 years, their best writer comes out and is like, I got
Good point.
this.
Yeah.
So that's why it's beautiful. Then that's like, even though a paper is every contact, like this is contact 119, paper 119, is sponsored by like a high up angel. That high up angel, I don't think is talking like this. I think whatever midwayer, the translator was there. I think the reason it sounds so good is because of the midwayers. Because beings from a half
That's
billion
a good
years
point.
across the galaxy, they would just be like flashing images and shit like that.
It's like me trying to speak Spanish when I know some of the basic vocabulary, but I'm completely ignorant of like the nuances of what one word may mean in English has a totally different context. Like, yeah, this like yo soy fuego. Um, these I want
Wow.
to that means something very different in Spanish. Um,
I
uh,
am fire.
yeah, it's like or like oh, yo soy caliente. Yeah. I
I'm hot.
I'm hot. Like if you're sweating and you're hot, but that means something different in Spanish.
Well, it should be
This
estoy caliente. Because when you say soy, you're
estoy, sí.
saying like I am, like
Yo soy
yeah, like I
caliente.
am the flame.
Ooh. Um,
But
I wanna point out this one sentence here you read. these triune rulers of the super universes will never certify a creator son as a universe sovereign until he has really acquired the viewpoint of his own creatures by actual experience in the environment of their existence as these very creatures themselves. I remember as a kid playing this game, Roller Coaster Tycoon, and Sims Theme Park. I remember playing Sims Theme Park. That's what I'm thinking of for the PS1. And you build this theme park, but you're so curious. What is it like for the little characters walking around in there? And in that game, you could actually go down into the viewpoint of the little people and see what the rides looked like. And because as a creator, you created this theme park, you have this just incredible urge to go down and see what is it actually like down there? What are these little characters experiencing? Likewise, imagine the collective consciousness of all of reality has created these worlds with beings like us building uh, cities and villages and whole landscapes. Um, you would be curious to be able to sympathize with them and understand what they're going through. If I were to give an analogy, it would be like if you saw during a rainy day little streams of water trickling down the sidewalk. Um, that rain came from somewhere. That water condensed up in the atmosphere before it fell down. You could think of consciousness in the same way. We're like individual little streams of consciousness, but you can't get something from nothing in reality, just laws of physics. And so consciousness, I would argue, doesn't just spontaneously emerge from placing atoms in the right configuration. Um, our minds can become more conductive to consciousness, like antennas or something, or little computers, but we're still plugged into a source. That consciousness is coming up from on high. And so this consciousness from way up would naturally desire to have some kind of ability to come down and interface with us lowly little creatures.
Yeah, it's really important. It's really important for God himself to come down and talk to us. I think that's important, or else we'd be like I said, groping around in the dark trying to figure it out. So shout out to Jesus Christ. I mean, that's my boss. That's who I work for. So you check my ID, Special Operations Detachment, Michael, Urantia 606, aka Planetary HQ. So let's finish out this first section, then you got the second section.
All right.
The local universe of Nebadon, get used to that word, that's where you live. The local universe of Nebadon is now ruled by a creator son who has completed his service of bestowal. He reigns in just and merciful supremacy over all the vast realms of his evolving and perfecting universe. Michael of Nebadon is the 611,121st bestowal of the first eternal son upon the universes of time and space. And he began the organization of your local universe about 400 billion years ago. That's crazy. So our local section is 400 billion years old. Michael made ready for his first bestowal adventure about the time Urantia was taking on its present form 1 billion years ago. His bestowals have occurred about 150 million years apart. The last one taking place on Earth, Urantia, 1900 years ago. I will now proceed to unfold the nature and character of these bestowals as fully as my commission permits. See, I love how it talks like that because it's letting you know that this is a celestial visitor and there's information it can tell us, but it's restricted by his commission. It's a very interesting way of writing. Like no other contact cases is written like this.
Yeah, right. I love that how each being says they are commissioned to do this. It's just like another video game analogy. If I were to make a video game and I wanted to localize it in different languages, I would have to contract out to someone who spoke Chinese and
oh shit, who spoke these are FFRDCs.
Spanish, yeah, it's just like like it makes sense that the beings on high might not be the best suited to tell this narrative because there could be beings that are closer to us that it's in their skill set to present this. I also love how Michael of Nebadon is the 611,121st bestowal. I love when they use those serial numbers. It makes me think of like military divisions. Like he could have been the 611,121st engineering division of the army or something.
Yeah.
It's cool. It shows like there's a legacy that.
Oh yeah, in the far future, I'll be like, I was in the 611th, 121st Battalion of Michael, and Nebadon. They're like, what?
Right?
That's an epic group of, you
Everyone's
know,
heard of that one.
yeah, exactly. You guys saw the shit.
All right. Section 1, the first bestowal. It was a solemn occasion on Salvington almost 1 billion years ago when the assembled directors and chiefs of the universe of Nebadon heard Michael announce that his elder brother, Emmanuel, would presently assume authority in Nebadon while he, Michael, would be absent on an unexplained mission. No other announcement was made about this transaction, except that the farewell broadcast to the Constellation Fathers, among other instructions, said, "And for this period I place you under the care and keeping of Emmanuel, while I go to do the bidding of my Paradise Father." After
That's
sending this
crazy, right?
farewell broadcast,
That's
right?
that's just
That
crazy,
gives
dude.
me
They're
chills.
like the setting, then it's like a movie, yeah.
It is.
A billion
Very
years ago,
cinematic
when the
already.
assembled directors and chiefs of the universe of Nebadon, and they heard Michael's announcement to his older brother Emmanuel, and
It was
the
a
announcement was, Emmanuel, I'm going to give authority to my brother Emmanuel. And everybody in the universe was like, oh,
what?
what's going to happen? What do you mean, Michael? And he was
It's
like, I'm
like
going to go on an unexplained mission. That's crazy.
Picard just gave command over to number one
It's
Riker. Then
mysteriously, right?
it's like, where did Picard go?
Yeah,
What's he up to?
exactly.
None of them
Exactly.
know.
Good analogy.
After sending this farewell broadcast, Michael appeared on the dispatching field of Salvington, just as on many previous occasions when preparing for departure to Uversa or Paradise, except that he came alone. He concluded his statement of departure with these words: "I leave you but for a short season. Many of you, I know, would go with me, but whither I go you cannot come. That which I am about to do you cannot do. I go to do the will of the Paradise deities, and when I have finished my mission and have acquired this experience, I will return to my place among you." And having thus spoken, Michael of Nebadon vanished from the sight of all those assembled, and did not reappear for 20 years of standard time. In all Salvington, only the divine minister and Emmanuel knew what was taking place, and the union of days shared his secret only with the chief executive of the universe, Gabriel, the bright and morning star. All the inhabitants of Salvington, and those dwelling on the constellation and system headquarters worlds, assembled about their respective receiving stations for universe intelligence, hoping to get some word of the mission and whereabouts of the Creator Sun. Not until the third day after Michael's departure was any message of possible significance received. On this day, a communication was registered on Salvington from the Melchizedek sphere, the headquarters of that order in Nebadon, which
Ooh.
simply recorded this extraordinary and never before heard of transaction. At noon today, there appeared on the receiving field of this world a strange Melchizedek son, not of our number, but wholly like our order. He was accompanied by a solitary Omniaphim who bore credentials from Uversa and presented orders addressed to our chief, derived from the Ancients of Days and concurred in by Emmanuel of Salvington, directing that this is new Melchizedek son. Directing that this new Melchizedek son be received into our order and assigned to the emergency service of the Melchizedeks of Nebadon. And it has been so ordered, it had been done.
Yeah.
I just gotta say,
That's crazy, dude. What are you going to
I
say?
think that's cool that this is a never before heard of transaction. It's like breaking news just dropped in the Urantia book. It's like getting an update on the JFK assassination like 50 years later or something, you know? It's like, I bet the beings saw the Urantia book dropped on Earth and they're like, hey, I heard the Urantia book has exclusive content never before seen.
Yeah, for real. Um, that is cool. This never before heard of transaction. You know, it just sounds epic. At noon today, there appeared on the receiving field of this world a strange Melchizedek son, not of our number, but wholly like our order. Like, what the heck? Like, it seems like everybody in the cosmos is like constantly monitoring all the broadcasts. Then all of a sudden, one weird broadcast comes in. Like, okay, this is a weird. 3 days after Michael disappears, then he was accompanied by a solitary Omniaphim who bore credentials from Uversa and presented orders addressed to our chief derived from the Ancient of Days and concurred in by Emmanuel, like the highest personalities in the local universe, and this random Melchizedek shows up. And that's what's crazy. Everybody knows about Melchizedek from the Bible. Melchizedek taught Abraham. Abraham, what, paid 1/10 of all of his war spoils to Melchizedek? So, like, how much more was Melchizedek than Abraham? The Urantia book says Melchizedek was a celestial that incarnated on planet Earth to get the planet ready for Jesus. Does that make sense? So Melchizedek taught Abraham, and Abraham started Judaism, all Semitic religion, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. But when Melchizedek taught Abraham, it got the planet ready, and then Jesus incarnated into that same Judeo-Jewish religion. So they're working in tandem together. Everybody knows, Drunvalo Melchizedek. I don't think he claims to be a Melchizedek, but he takes that title as an honor to his spirit guide who taught him.
Okay, that's cool.
Which is a funny cover. I see you, Drunvalo. No, I'm kidding. It's like everybody knows about this term. People wonder about, who is this? It's just another celestial. And Jesus Christ's first incarnation, 1 billion years ago, was as a Melchizedek on the Melchizedek planet. It's very interesting. And I love how it says at the very end, and it has been so ordered, it has been done. Like whatever Michael and Emmanuel orders, it is. Like there is no you can't say otherwise.
It's interesting too that there are beings, I mean, a vast civilization of beings scattered all across the known universe that are just combing through the data to try to figure out what's going on when things are kept secret from them. It makes me think about like Half-Life fans looking for Half-Life 3, and they're combing through the code of every game that drops, picking up hints. So almost like a LARP or something. Or I mean, there's people who are suited to that who like chug through the news. They check all the Twitter updates and all that, and they're able to distill information that the average person couldn't get. So there are celestial equivalents to people like Whitney Webb, but they're probably not focused on corruption. They're focused on what the heck is going on. All right. And this is about all that appears on the records of Salvington regarding the first Michael bestowal. Nothing more appears until after 100 years of Urantia time, when there was recorded the fact of Michael's return and unannounced resumption of the direction of universe affairs. But a strange record is to be found on the Melchizedek world, a recital of the service of this unique Melchizedek son of the emergency corps of that age. This record is preserved in a simple temple which now occupies the foreground of the home of the father Melchizedek, and it comprises the narration of the service of this transitory Melchizedek son in connection with his assignment to 24 missions of universe emergency. And this record, which I have so recently reviewed, ends thus. And at noon on this day, without previous announcement, and witnessed by only 3 of our brotherhood, this visiting son of our order disappeared from our world as he came, accompanied only by a solitary omniphant. And this record is now closed with the certification that this visitor lived as a Melchizedek, in the likeness of a Melchizedek. He worked as a Melchizedek, and he faithfully performed all of his assignments as an emergency son of our order. By universal consent, he has become chief of Melchizedeks.
Wow.
Having earned
He had become chief of Melchizedek
in that
20
short
years
time.
in one life. Yeah.
Made an impact. By universal consent, he has become chief of Melchizedeks, having earned our love and adoration by his matchless wisdom, supreme love, and superb devotion to duty.
Hear
He
that,
loved us.
dude? That kept ringing in my head all morning because I listened to this morning.
Yeah.
Every time he incarnates, it talks about his superb devotion to duty.
It's admirable.
No matter
could all
in
be
what
like that.
condition, on what world, in darkness. That's important. I think if you're listening to this, you should recognize that there is a
I love
cosmic
that
duty.
idea.
There is a cosmic duty, regardless if you're with people or not. You have to fucking do it. So don't wait on others. Do it.
Do it. I think that's the coolest thing ever. The idea of a badass character ending up in a totally chaotic, overwhelming new situation that they have no grips with, and the first thing they say is, "What's the situation?"
Yeah, exactly, right.
That's basically Michael.
Let's fucking start building straight up. Water and lava everywhere. That's fine. Let's figure out how to get a stable floor over the water and lava, and let's fucking make it happen.
Yeah, right. He loved us, understood us, and served with us, and forever we are his loyal and devoted fellow Melchizedeks. For this stranger on our world has now eternally become a universe minister of Melchizedek nature.
See, it's not only on this planet where you're supposed to take on your cross and live like Jesus. Sorry, I said it like that. Sorry, I'm not making fun of the Christians. I think it's funny. Jesus loves you. You know, like it's not only where he came to teach us to be like him, he was doing this on every planet. And he did it by superb devotion to duty. How many of you are really devoted to the duty of uplifting your planetary sphere? Or are you just consuming, waiting for someone to tell you the answers, waiting for someone to give you a handout, saying, what if aliens are real? Yeah, the government's lying to us, but sitting on your ass. I believe in Jesus, but I do nothing. I just believe in him in lip service alone, you know?
I got
How
something to
do
say
you
about that.
get everybody on the planet to react to you the way that these Melchizedeks reacted to him on this planet?
Right.
You land and you ignore everything and you fucking get to business. Jesus did that.
Get to
Was he
business.
obsessed with money and fashion and material, or did he get to fucking work?
Yeah, let me rephrase this idea that you have one life. You have an entire life here on Earth, an entire lifespan to accomplish your mission as a unique personality. If not you, then who? And if not now, then when? There is something that you, the listener, whoever's listening, I love you. There's something that you, as a personality, can only do that no one else in all of human history in the past or the future can
Amen.
accomplish. Only you can provide this special gift to reality. And it's going to be hard and challenging. It's going to put you out of your comfort zone and demand of you everything that makes you uncomfortable, but that you are capable of if you push yourself and achieve some level of mastery in whatever it is that you're good at that no one else understands. But if every single one of us was from an early age instilled with this concept that, you know, you may be 12 years old, but by the time you're 50, you'll finally accomplish your goal. What is it? And you kind of chart out your life. All right, I have so much time. I'm going to learn this skill for a decade. I'm going to learn this skill for a decade. I'm going to do this for a decade. Then finally, my magnum opus, I'm going to uplift humanity. That's how we end up in a era of light and life, advanced civilization. Gotta get there.
Get me pumped up over here.
Hell yeah. And that is all I am permitted to tell you of the first bestowal of Michael. We, of course, fully understand that this strange Melchizedek, who so mysteriously served with the Melchizedeks a billion years ago, was none other than the incarnated Michael on the mission of his first bestowal. The records do not specifically state that this unique and efficient Melchizedek was Michael, but it is universally believed that he was. Probably not. Probably the actual statement of the fact cannot be found outside of the records of Sonarington, and the records of that secret world are not open to us. Only on this sacred world of the divine sons are the mysteries of incarnation and bestowal fully known. We all know of the facts of the Michael bestowals, but we do not understand how they are effected. We do not know how the ruler of a universe, the creator of the Melchizedeks, can so suddenly and mysteriously become one of their number and, as one of them, live among them and work as a Melchizedek's son for 100 years. But it so happened.
um, Very cool. I love the fact that he incarnated as Melchizedek, but now that I'm reading this, I'm realizing how lame this one is. It literally is just a transcript of his registry into Melchizedek's and registry out. It tells you zero about his life.
Yeah.
Literally, like the paragraph, it says he's assigned here. It has been ordered, so it has been done. Literally, the next paragraph is at noon this day, without previous announcement, he disappears.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You're
right.
like, wait, what the fuck? I want to know about what happened in between his life. But he goes, and that is all I'm permitted to tell you of the first bestowal of Michael. And you're like,
So is
damn,
there
dude.
more information
There
that
is
they're
so
not giving
much
us?
more. He can't tell Urantia because we're not ready. It says right here, I will now proceed to unfold the nature and character of these bestowals as fully as my commission permits. You know,
Permit.
so
You're
they're
right.
like, you can't tell. You can tell about the registration in and out, but nothing about his life in between because Urantia's not ready for that. You know,
Okay, I
fuck.
see two things here. One, the Melchizedek order is naturally kind of secretive, highly
Oh, I could see
classified.
that. So no one even gets to see it.
Yeah, like especially on our level as human beings, evolutionary will creatures, we're not authorized to really get
We
any
don't.
information. It'd be like Jesus,
We don't have the
Jesus
clearance.
in his 2026 bestowal visited Area 51,
Dude,
but we
I've read
can't
the
tell you much about
Majestic
that.
papers. I should have the clearance.
Yeah, right.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
it's something like that. Like Jesus met with the embassy of China discussing World War III, but we're not permitted to disclose that what transpired. But on top of that, it goes to show the character of Jesus himself seems kind of like a secretive guy, or maybe it's his job title. It's like what he has to carry with him is uh, there's stuff even the Melchizedeks aren't classified, like authorized to understand or comprehend. Maybe even regular responsibilities that Michael has to carry in universe regulation that we couldn't even comprehend. It would break our brains. I don't know. I feel like there's a good reason for information being classified when it comes to information of this nature, and I think that's usually the case. Is it would break our brains, we'd go insane if we fully understood what Jesus understood.
Yeah, it'd break our brains. And what's funny is this uh, sentence that says, probably the actual statement of the fact that Michael was this Melchizedek cannot be found outside of the records of Cinerington, and the records of that secret world are not open to us. So there's 7 worlds directly outside of Paradise, the center of the universe that we were talking about before. And one of those worlds is called Sunnerington, the world of the sun. And there's secrets there. They says the secrets of a bestowal is on Sunnerington, because such a high being can become such the lowest being on chain of command. It's a hard technique and nobody knows it. And I guess it's a secret locked up on Sunnerington. So maybe because the Michael bestowals are so secret on Sunnerington, it's such a high up classification that therefore it mandates the classification on the Melchizedek sphere too, you know?
It's weird though, isn't it? 1 billion years ago, in that time,
It's still
over the
classified.
time of one billion years, yeah, nobody just walked up to Jesus and was like, "Hey, dude, was it you? That was you, right, on the Melchizedek world?" Like
I'm sure there
no
was.
one asked him that.
I'm sure he has parties with his friends on the Melchizedek world today. Like every 1,000 years, he meets up and like, hey guys, remember that? You know?
Maybe that's just not publicly broadcast to the
Yeah,
rest of the
exactly. It's
universe.
Michael, man.
I don't know. It does make me think of kind of the way our government operates with national security and all that. I mean, I'm sure they don't deal with the same kind of threats, or at least threats of a different nature, like what happens when people learn too much and it breaks their brains, rather than what happens when China finds out or something, you know?
I don't know what happens when the rebels find out too much, you know?
Oh shit, I didn't
Because
even
then they
think
try
about
to
that.
usurp the plans, right? Just like they tried
Okay,
with Michael when he came on Earth. When
so there
Satan,
is like galactic security.
yeah, Satan and
Wow,
Caligastia try to, the devil in the Bible try to tempt Jesus, the temptation of Jesus in the Bible, yeah.
the Department of Galactic Security.
The Galactic
Wow.
NSA, the Department of Galactic Security, the GHS, Galactic Home Security, whatever. All right. Oh, my turn. The second bestowal. If you like what you're hearing so far, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so you are up to date with all the celestial broadcasts. Now let's plow ahead on this Christmas Jeep ride through the jungle of the cosmos. The second bestowal. For almost 150 million years after the Melchizedek bestowal of Michael, all went well in the universe of Nebadon. when trouble began to brew in System 11 of Constellation 37. This trouble involved a misunderstanding by a Lenonadek sun, a system sovereign, which had been adjudicated by the Constellation Fathers and approved by the Faithful of Days, the Paradise Counselor to that constellation. But the protesting system sovereign was not fully reconciled to the verdict. After more than 100 years of dissatisfaction, he led his associates in one of the most widespread and disastrous rebellions against the sovereignty of the Creator's Son ever instigated in the universe of Nebadon. A rebellion long since adjudicated and ended by the action of the Ancient of Days of Uversa. That's wild. So 150 million years ago, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Really? Before the Lucifer Rebellion.
Yeah. There's 2 other rebellions before the Lucifer Rebellion. This is the 3rd. Lucifer Rebellion was the 3rd. So that's kind of interesting to think about. Was George Lucas a Urantia book reader? Some people say yes.
Who's a closet UB reader? I know it.
Yeah.
It's Gene Roddenberry wore it on his sleeve, but George Lucas, they were in cahoots.
Oh yeah, dude, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a planetary rebellion, a system, the Empire. Come on, like, this is literally, we're reading the script right here. Okay.
I think you're right.
So, this rebel system sovereign, Lutentia, reigned supreme on his headquarters planet for more than 20 years of standard Nebadon time, whereupon the Most Highs, with approval from Uversa, ordered his segregation and requisitioned the Salvington rulers for the designation of a new system sovereign to assume direction of that strife-torn and confused system of inhabited worlds. Well, so the Constellation saw this guy rebel, and they made a request to Paradise, like, hey, we need a new guy because this guy's rebelling.
It's cool. I asked Google, what is Nebadon time compared to Urantia time? And the AI overview actually answered. It says, one standard Nebadon day being about 18.25 Earth days.
Yeah.
So that's 25 times 18.
There you go.
If you want to, y'all can do the math in your head.
So when that guy rebelled, like I said, the good guys in that system, they petitioned Paradise for a new system sovereign. They're like, hey, our president, he's rebelling. Can we get a new guy? So simultaneously, when they sent that request, Michael initiated his second proclamation of intention to be absent from universe headquarters.
Wow, so they were anxious.
Yeah, for the purpose of doing the bidding of my Paradise Father, promising to return in due season and concentrating all authority of his paradise into the hands of his Paradise brother, Emmanuel, the Union of Days. So I don't think this constellation thought they were going to get Michael. I think the rebellion just happened and they're like, hey, dude, this guy's rebelling. We need another guy. And then right when that happened, Michael was like, I'm disappearing again. Everybody's like, wait, what?
Seems like bad timing.
What do you mean?
I'm sure it was for a good reason. Because it probably felt like right when they needed him most, he vanished. Where's
well,
our
yeah,
leader?
okay, I get what you're saying. But yeah, you're right. It was on purpose. And then
also,
what?
462 days. That's how many days 25 Nebadon days is.
Okay. Thank you for that conversion. Okay, because how the angels think, it's important to understand. And then, by the same technique observed at the time of his departure in connection with the Melchizedek bestowal, Michael again took leave of his headquarters sphere. 3 days after this unexplained leave, 3 days after this unexplained leave, taking there appeared among the reserving. Dude, that sentence doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah. 3 days after this unexplained leave taking, there appeared among the reserve corps of the primary Lenonadek sons of Nebadon a new and unknown member. This new son appeared at noon, unannounced and accompanied by a lone tertiaraphim, who bore credentials from the Uversa Ancient of Days, certified by Emmanuel of Salvington, directing that this new son be assigned to System 11 of Constellation 37 as the successor of the deposed Lutentia, and with full authority as acting system sovereign, pending the appointment of a new sovereign. So, like I said before, when that system sovereign rebelled, his system sent a petition to Paradise saying, "We need a new guy." And Michael said, "I'm gonna disappear." And guess who? Guess who the new guy was?
Ooh.
Michael.
Just so happened to disappear to
Just-
System 11 of Constellation 37.
That's hilarious, right? So
Man, that's got a sting, Lutentia.
yeah, Michael has his ways. For more than 17 years of universe time. What is that conversion? 17 years of universe time.
Oh,
This strange and unknown temporary ruler administered the affairs and wisely adjudicated the difficulties of this confused and demoralized local system. The system sovereign was ever more ardently loved or more widespreadly honored and respected. In justice and mercy, this new ruler set the turbulent system in order while he painstakingly ministered to all his subjects, even offering his rebellious predecessor the privilege of sharing the system throne of authority if he would only apologize to Emmanuel for his indiscretions. That's crazy. He offered this rebel, like, you can share my throne if you just apologize.
He knew it
Damn.
wasn't going to happen.
But I mean, that's
it never
what a
happens with a
merciful, sovereign.
Right?
But Lutentia spurned these overtures of mercy, well knowing that this new and strange system sovereign was none other than Michael, the very universe ruler whom he had so recently defied. But millions of his misguided and deluded followers accepted the forgiveness of this new ruler, known in that age as the savior sovereign of the system of Polonia.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then came that eventful day on which there arrived the newly appointed system sovereign, designated by the universe authorities as a permanent successor for the deposed Lutentia. And all Polonia mourned the departure of the most noble and most benign system ruler that Nebadon had ever known. He was beloved by the entire system and adored by his fellows of all groups of the Lenonendek sons. His departure was not unceremonious. A great celebration was arranged when he left the system headquarters. Even his erring predecessor sent this message: "Just and righteous are you in all your ways. While I continue in rejection of the Paradise rule, I am compelled to confess that you are a just and merciful administrator." Wow, so even the rebellious guy was like, he's a good leader. Even though I'm not going to follow him, he's probably one of the best leaders.
Yeah.
So he had an ego problem with him, as opposed to
pay
his
respect where it's due.
Yeah, but if he's a good and great leader, then obviously it's your ego. It's not him that's wrong.
I guess so. Maybe he's thinking like, you're cool, but the system is broke.
See, it's his ego. Yeah. He's like, I am the system. I am the system.
I got your conversion. A little over 17 years in universe time would be 114,792 days.
I thought you were going to give me years. God damn it.
No.
114,000 divided by 365.
I can do that divided by 18.5. No.
Not 365.
365. 314.5 years.
Damn.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That math compounds fast.
Yeah. And then did this transient ruler of a rebellious system take leave of the planet of his short administrative sojourn, while on the third day thereafter, Michael appeared on Salvington and resumed the direction of the universe of Nebadon. There soon followed the third Uversa proclamation of the advancing jurisdiction of sovereignty and authority of Michael. The first proclamation was made at the time of his arrival in Nebadon. The second was issued soon after the completion of the Melchizedek bestowal, and the third follows upon the termination of the second or Lenonendek mission. Nice. So that's his second bestowal. That's right. Very New cool. Testament Jesus Christ. That's literally what we're talking about. We're talking about Jesus. Jesus loves you, that Jesus, the Jesus that everybody loves, the entire planet loves. And we're giving you the never before heard, the exclusive backstory on why he is the way he is, who he was before he was Jesus Christ. Not of this world, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm getting pumped up. I just love hearing how every time there's a rebellion or every time there's like a bad place in the universe, you see him go right towards it. And if he's my father, if he created me, you're supposed to learn from him. And that's how I feel. Like I'll stay on Urantia, I'll stay on Earth until the last person's left. I'll stay here until all the distortion and dysfunction is gone. Or after this planet, send me to another planet that's fucked up, because that's where the fun is. I don't want to go to a planet that's already perfect. Like I can go there whenever I want. Like that's going to be within your ability to go to for all of eternal future existence. But the distorted realms are only going to be here for a short amount of time. So if Michael's going to be like that, if that's his mentality, then that's how I think. I adopt his mentality. So I know you're saying the world's fucked. Fuck this place. Like we get it. It's really easy to do that. It's hard to go so hard that literally the human timelines changed around your actions. You know, that's a lot harder. It's easy to complain.
And did you know if you say I smell sausage and play it backwards, you'll say Jesus loves you?
Really? I smell sausage. Okay, play that backwards, guys.
I need your attention, everybody. This just in. The New Jersey drones are now over New York, LA, and every major capital on the face of planet Earth. They keep repeating a message over the 6 gigahertz frequency band, and it keeps saying, Planetary HQ has cosmic garments for your physical mechanism. In other words, we got that drip.
Straight from the Galactic Federation wardrobe, these tees vibrate at the frequency. Ribbed knit collars lovingly hug your neck chakra, preventing collar droop across dimensions. Tapered shoulders enhance your interstellar silhouette, perfect for Earth missions and beyond. Dual side seams stabilize your style, ensuring your energy stays aligned even when encountering planetary turbulence. Crafted from 100% classified heirloom combed and ring spun cotton, this featherlight fabric breathes like you're cruising through the astral plane. Ideal for layering beneath your space cloak or relaxing at your Earth base. The tailored retail fit transitions seamlessly from casual Earthling mode to I've got crystals in my pocket and I ain't from here chic, making it essential apparel for your rigorous interdimensional journey.
So check out them shirts. We got a bunch of different colors. Link is in the description. Your contributions directly support spiritual operations on the front line in the battle for truth, beauty, and righteousness. With your help, we can help change the face of planet Earth, and we can look fly while doing it. Okay, now that we can fund the Black Budget Anti-Grav program, let's get back to the show.
Planetary HQ, baby. Yeah, I smell sausage. Play it backwards. I love Jesus. I mean, I do. He created me. It's only right that we pay our respects back to the Creator. Like I said, it's Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, and remember the mission. What's funny is he wasn't born on Christmas. Oh, fuck, no way. Holy shit.
Mind blown.
Yeah, dude.
No, we not making this shit up.
I'm serious, dude. He wasn't born on Christmas. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about his pre-incarnations. Hope you guys are enjoying. Like I said, go get yourself a shirt. You guys saw that emergency crazy broadcast. I think the NHI that is floating above the house kind of beamed that in because he wanted the people to see the entire new store that we have. PlanetaryHQ.com. That's
the non-humans are into it.
planetary-hq.com. Check it out. Go get yourself a shirt. We got a couple new ones. 3i Atlas is Project Bluebeam. I like that one. Go check it out. It's fun. We got the Retro TR3B Classic. 1950s. They've been had the anti-grav, so just gotta let the people know. Urantia gang, if you like what we're reading so far, support the cause. Like I said, we got an entire new store. Stars are watching. You already know the deal. Go get swagged out. And we got an entire new line coming out soon. Wait till the new year drops. What's funny is we also got the tinfoil hat if you want to check that out. So
I love that.
But yeah, Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. Am I going to hell for saying it so much? Jesus Christ. No, for real. He came on planet Earth so that he could accomplish a mission. He came on planet Earth so he could teach you how to live your life. You're alive listening to this. This isn't just shit I'm saying for entertainment purposes. It's so that you can understand your mission, your purpose. Your purpose isn't just to sit here, attract a mate, and consume shit and decorate your body in a nice fashion so you're pleasing on the eyes. You think the entire universe and Jesus Christ came to our planet so that you could just fucking be a consumer that looks pretty? That's craziness. That's cosmic insanity. Time for you to live up to your potential, grasp your cosmic inheritance, stop being a little bitch.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, second. He's on his third bestowal. He did 7 bestowals on his last one. He went on a cross, bro. Come on now. Stop complaining. Get over your red versus blue, Democratic versus Republican shit. We need to figure out mind, body, spirit progress, no matter what color you are. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's your turn.
Remember that.
I think it's your turn to read.
All right. Number 4, the 4th bestowal. It was at the.
Are we doing 4th? We're doing third.
Oh, can't skip the 3rd.
Jeez, he's hating. He's hating right now. Hating on the life carriers, dog.
Number 3, the 3rd bestowal. The Supreme Council on Salvington had just finished the consideration of the call of the life carriers on Planet 217 and System 87 in Constellation 61 for the dispatch to their assistance of a material sun. Now this planet was situated in a system of inhabited worlds where another system sovereign had gone astray, the second such rebellion in all Nebadon up to that time. Upon the request of Michael, action on the petition of the life carriers of this planet was deferred, pending its consideration by Emmanuel and his report thereon. This was an irregular procedure, and I well remember how we all anticipated something unusual, and we were not long held in suspense. Michael proceeded to place universe direction in the hands of Emmanuel, while he entrusted command of the celestial forces to Gabriel. And having thus disposed of his administrative responsibilities, he took leave of the Universe Mother Spirit and vanquished from the dispatching field of Salvington, precisely as he had done on 2 previous occasions. Now I'm beginning to notice a pattern here. It seems like Michael, maybe it's his personality, he loves going on bestowals during rebellions. So far, he's gone on a bestowal on both of these rebellions, and his human bestowal was during our Lucifer rebellion. So I don't know, maybe that's like a strategy he figured out. It's a good time to go on a bestowal.
Amen.
Boots on the ground.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. And as might have been expected, on the 3rd day thereafter there appeared, unannounced, on the headquarters world of System 87 in Constellation 61, a strange material sun, accompanied by a lone Saconophim, accredited by the Uversa Ancients of Days and certified by Emmanuel of Salvington. Immediately the acting system sovereign appointed this new and mysterious material sun, acting planetary prince of World 217. And this designation was at once confirmed by the Most Highs of Constellation 61. Thus did this unique material sun begin his difficult career on a quarantined world of succession and rebellion, located in a beleaguered system without any direct communication with the outside universe, working alone for one whole generation of planetary time. All right, I gotta take a second and look up beleaguered. What the heck does beleaguered mean? Beleaguered.
Like confused, like kind of awe and confusion.
Okay, yeah, it says definition in a very difficult situation or of a place surrounded by armed forces aiming to capture it or force surrender, besieged. Okay,
Oh
okay.
Lord, I was off.
Yeah, close enough, I guess. This emergency material sun affected the repentance and reclamation of the defaulting planetary prince and his entire staff and witnessed the restoration of the planet to the loyal service of the paradise rule as established in the local universes.
That's crazy, dude. So he was an Adam and Eve, and he went to a planet on a rebellious sphere where their staff rebelled, and he
Whoa.
reclaimed their planetary prince and staff.
Huh. He was so what? He was an Adam, so he had an Eve on this bestowal?
He was a material son. That's what when I heard this in the morning, it's really weird. They don't disclose if he was with an Eve, but he might have been with one. They just don't disclose it.
That didn't really click in my mind until now. Like,
that's my first thought too. I'm like, was he dispatched with an Eve? Because it says Adam and Eve's material sons always work with material daughters. And for the viewers, we can say material son and material daughter is another word for an Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve get sent to planets as the second celestials to land. So on our planet, the Anunnaki landed 500,000 years ago. And then Adam and Eve landed 37,000 years ago. That happens on other planets as well. So on this planet, it's saying they're Anunnaki. They rebelled just like ours. But instead of them getting Adam and Eve like we know of, they got Jesus Christ as their Adam and Eve. And he landed and I guess won the staff back over, which didn't happen on our planet. On our planet, the staff kind of won Adam and Eve over.
Yeah, made it into default.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Very trippy, huh? These dynamics are so juicy, man. So juicy. Every one of these bestowals could be a movie.
So much lore.
I'm so lored out.
Lore.
Nothing but a little lore.
Thus did this unique material son begin his difficult career on a quarantine of succession and rebellion. Located in a beleaguered system. Oh, that was what I just read. Whatever. A beleaguered system without any direct communication with the outside universe, working alone for one whole generation of planetary time. This emergency material sun affected the repentance and reclamation of the defaulting planetary prince and his entire staff and witnessed the restoration of the planet to the loyal service of the paradise rule as established in the local universes. In due time, a material son and daughter arrived on this rejuvenated and redeemed world, and when they had been duly installed as visible planetary rulers, the transitory or emergency planetary prince took formal leave, disappearing at noon one day. On the third day thereafter, Michael appeared in his accustomed place on Salvington, and very soon the Super Universe broadcast carried the fourth proclamation of the Ancients of Days, announcing the further advancement of the sovereignty of Michael in Nebadon. Okay, so it looks like later after the fact, an Adam and an Eve did show up, so maybe he was just a material son by himself.
Or maybe the record's classified and it can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got another Adam and Eve afterwards, yeah. I guess we'll never know until maybe we gain access to those records. We'll get special clearance, I know it.
I want to see the Jesus and Rebecca records.
Highly classified.
Yeah. He was in this paper. It says like 4 times he's tried in every way in all points as all the mortals of that realm, or of all the beings in that realm. And I'm like,
oh,
what does that mean?
Just imagine the tabloids circulating at the time, the cosmic tabloids.
Jesus uses Rebecca. Sorry, babe, I can't be with you.
I regret that I do not have permission to narrate the patience, fortitude, and skill with which this material son met the trying situations on this confused planet. The reclamation of this isolated world is one of the most beautifully touching chapters in the annals of salvation throughout Nebadon. By the end of this mission, it had become evident to all Nebadon as to why their beloved ruler chose to engage in these repeated bestowals in the likeness of some subordinate order of intelligent being. The bestowals of Michael as a Melchizedek son, then as a Lenanendic son, and next as a material son, are all equally mysterious and beyond explanation. In each instance, he appeared suddenly and as a fully developed individual of the bestowal group. The mystery of such incarnations will never be known except to those who have access to the inner circle of the records on the sacred sphere of Sonaring. Never, since this marvelous bestowal as the planetary prince of a world in isolation and rebellion, have any of the material sons or daughters in Nebadon been tempted to complain of their assignments or to find fault with the difficulties of their planetary missions. For all time, the material sons know that in the Creator Son of the universe, they have an understanding sovereign and a sympathetic friend, one who has in all points been tried and tested,
See?
even as they must also be tried and tested. Yeah, all points.
I mean, how are you going to become a real material son if you're not part of a pair, right?
Mm-mm.
How are you going to become a real human if you don't experience being in a relationship?
Good argument. It's a good argument. I do like that though, that from then on, all material sons and daughters couldn't complain about their job because they had this person
Yeah.
to relate to. Just likewise, as humans, we look back at Jesus's life and the life he chose to live, despite his circumstances being impoverished, and his dad died, and taking care of his family, then going off and captivating the masses, and then getting brutally tortured in one of the most slow, painful ways imaginable, and public humiliation. And you know what? My life isn't so bad now that I think about it.
I mean, maybe this incarnation was part of the reason why Adam and Eve signed up for Urantia. But when the boots hit the
Ooh.
ground, they were in over their
But
fucking teeth.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, Michael did it. We can too. And they land 100 years later, fucking Eve's banging the locals.
This week on Survivor.
Yeah, for real.
Each of these missions was followed by an age of increasing service and loyalty among all celestial intelligences of universe origin. See, that's kind of what you were just saying. While each succeeding bestowal age was characterized by advancement and improvement in all methods of universe administration and in all techniques of government. Since this bestowal, no material son or daughter has ever knowingly joined in rebellion against Michael. They love and honor him too devotedly, ever consciously to reject him. Only through deception and sophistry have the atoms of recent times been led astray by higher types of rebel personality. So that's creepy too, is that like political theory can be so far over our heads that we're enticed into something really stupid and we make a fool out of ourselves.
Yeah. Even high Adam and Eves can be led astray by even higher personalities. This is funny. This paragraph is actually clarifying something. I don't know if you were in that episode, but me and Tay Chilla were reading about. We were talking about the Lucifer rebellion, and it said like thousands of material sons and daughters were swept into the rebellion, but it worded it weird where like only a certain percentage of these sons went to rebellion during the third rebellion, and this clarifies it right here.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
in the first two rebellions, maybe a lot of material sons and daughters came, but because Michael incarnated after that, no material sons and daughters gave into the
That makes
sophistry.
So it
Were
shows
you in that
how-
episode? I forget.
I don't remember that discussion
Okay.
being had. It does show how effective the Michael bestowals are, even if it is just a consequence of his bestowal. It's not even the primary reason, but it kind of has a healing effect in all these other departments in the universe. Just him being here and living a life as some order of being. That's cool.
So, the fourth bestowal. It was at the end of one of the periodic millennial roll calls of Uversa that Michael proceeded to place the government of Nebadon in the hands of Emmanuel and Gabriel. And, of course, recalling what had happened in the times past following such action, we all prepared to witness Michael's disappearance on his 4th mission of bestowal, and we were not long kept waiting, for he shortly went out upon the Salvington dispatching field and was lost to our view. On the 3rd day after his bestowal disappearance, we observed in the universe broadcast to Uversa this significant news item from the Seraphic headquarters of Nebadon, reporting the unannounced arrival of an unknown seraphim, accompanied by a solitary supernaphim and Gabriel of Salvington. This unregistered seraphim qualifies as of the Nebadon order and bears credentials from the Uversa Ancient of Days, certified by Emmanuel of Salvington. This seraphim tests out as belonging to the supreme order of the angels of a local universe and has already been assigned to the corps of teaching counselors. Michael was absent from Salvington during the Seraphic bestowal for a period of over 40 standard universe years. During this time, he was attached as a Seraphic teaching counselor, what you might denominate a private secretary, to 26 different masters functioning on 22 different worlds. His last or terminal assignment was as a counselor and helper attached to a bestowal mission of a Trinity teacher's son on world 462 in system 84 of Constellation 3 in the universe of Nebadon. Never throughout the 7 years of this assignment was this Trinity teacher's son wholly persuaded as to the identity of his Seraphic associate. True, all seraphim during that age were regarded with peculiar interest and scrutiny. Full well, we all knew that our beloved sovereign was abroad in the universe, disguised as a seraphim, but never could we be certain of his identity. Never was he positively identified until the time of his attachment to the bestowal mission of his Trinity teacher's son. But always, throughout this era, were the supreme seraphim regarded with special solicitude, lest any of us should find that we had unawares been host to the sovereign of the universe on a mission of creature bestowal. And so it has become forever true concerning angels, that their creator and ruler has been in all points tried and tested in the likeness of seraphic personality. As these successive bestowals partook increasingly of the nature of the lower forms of universe life, Gabriel became more and more an associate of these incarnation adventures, functioning as the universe liaison between the bestowed Michael and the acting universe ruler Emmanuel. Now has Michael passed through the bestowal experience of 3 orders of his created universe sons, the Melchizedeks, the Nonandeks, and the material sons. Next, he condescends to personalize in the likeness of angelic life as a supreme seraphim before turning his attention to the various phases of the ascending careers of his lowest form of will creatures, the evolutionary mortals of time and space. Us.
Wow.
Humans.
Jesus has
Heck
an
yeah,
angel.
baby. It's exciting.
That's interesting.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah,
really
so he
wonder,
went from like the high orders to an angelic seraphim. That's dope.
kind of working his way down. I really wonder because all the beings weren't sure if they were interacting with an angel, if that could have been Michael. It could be any angel, and it makes me wonder. I remember in another part of the book, it describes the appearance of seraphims. It at least describes they're all created uniformly. I'm really trying to figure out their appearance, but
Yeah, it says they're pattern angels.
yeah, like they're created uniformly. So how do you distinguish them? How can you tell? Just like spotting one in a crowd of angels, which one is your angel that you've known for many years. I almost wonder if they put on light bodies or some kind of light form they project to distinguish themselves, or if they dress up in something, one's got like a hat with a feather sticking out, or if their faces change due to their personalities, they got different expressions. I don't know. Very thought provoking.
Yeah. Right. Maybe based on what kind of color clothes they're wearing. It's a good question. I have no clue. But I think we're gonna call it there. I think that's a good Christmas Eve. We can pick this up maybe in the next week or so. Kill that Christmas spirit maybe after the New Year's. But we're definitely gonna finish out the rest of the past lives of Jesus Christ. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys learned a little something. If you liked what you're hearing, like I said before, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified every time we go live, don't forget to hit that little bell button on the notification button so that you're up to date. We go live at least once a week, and we got episodes dropping on the video page of the channel all the time. So my name's D-Bake, Deadrick Baker, D-Bake the Wise. Remember that you are more than what you think you are. My words of power to you right now are just what we read. Jesus came here for a mission, and he came here to show you that the harvest is plentiful in these rebellious sectors of the universe, but the workers are few. And he came to be a template. He came to show you the way, literally to be your big brother and be like, hey, if you operate like this, you're going to get major kudos when you go up into the Galactic Federation. So I'm willing to do it if you guys are. Together, I think we can take the planet back from these billionaire geopolitical scamming pedophiles. So buy yourself a shirt so that you can support the cause. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Mammoth, you got anything you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, in the Christmas spirit, just be a caring, considerate person. I know even today I struggled not to get pissed off at people in traffic, and then I stopped myself and I'm like, you know what? Christmas Eve, I'm going to try to be a good person. And remember, as all of the other reindeer says, even the smallest ones can make the biggest difference.
Hell yeah. Amen. If you are hearing this, you are the resistance. Planetary HQ, baby. Merry Christmas. And a
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year. Peace.